Finally, here we are. We have arrived at the end of the year, and it is time to do one of, arguably my biggest videos of the year, the most important videos of the year, and that is my top 10 favorite movies of 2018. So obviously there are a couple of things I need to say before we get to the list. Firstly, this is my top 10 favorite films of the year, not the top 10 best, not the top 10 highest graded. These are my personal choices. They are the films that affected me the most. I'm sure there are going to be films on here that you completely disagree with, but that's fine. That's kind of the whole point. Second thing is Paddington 2 will not be on this list. Because technically it came out in 2017. Now, it's not one of those cases where it came out in one film festival in 2017. Paddington 2 came out in wide release in the UK and a few other countries in 2017. So unfortunately, I won't be counting it as a 2018 release. But if I did, then it would definitely be on the list and it would be pretty high. So with that out the way, let's get into some of the honorable mentions. We've got The Night Comes for Us, which is basically the Raid 3. It's pretty much the most violent movie I've ever seen, ever. It's got some of the most well choreographed and shot fights I've ever seen. We've got You Were Never Really Here, which is probably the most pretentious film I've seen this year. I've seen it 3 times and I still don't really get it. I don't even know if I like it, but every time I watch it, I'm so mesmerized by it. So I think it deserves an honorable mention. We've got First Reformed, Black Klansman, Searching, Suspiria, all great films. We've got Isle of Dogs and The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, which in my opinion are the 2 best looking films of the year. We've got First Man, which in my opinion is the best scored film of the year. I think Justin Hurwitz, at the very least, deserves a nomination. I know they're going to give the Oscar to Ludwig Göransson, but in my opinion, Hurwitz did the best score of the year. We've got Game Night, which for me is the biggest surprise of the year. Now, the last 2 honorable mentions are the films which would have been 12 and 11 had this be a top 12 list. And at number 12, we've got A Quiet Place, which was just an awesome surprise, just like Game Night. It's a really great film. And at number 11, which was so close to being number 10, we have Black Panther, which I really love. And it was so close to being number 10. I really enjoyed the film, but after seeing it 3 times now, some of the CGI has become very noticeable. The third act is quite weak. Do I think that this film deserves all the awards recognition that it's been getting? Aside from the fact that it's got a largely black cast, I don't think the film does anything significantly better than the 2 other superhero films that are going to be on my list. So yeah, I think it's probably best if we move on to number 10 before some idiot out there accuses me of racism.
You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you.
Bad Times at the El Royale was just an awesome film. In many ways, it actually reminded me of Baby Driver, in that you've got an awesome ensemble cast, you've got a director working at the top of his game, you've got great music, great visuals. The big difference between this and Baby Driver, of course, is the pacing. Bad Times is very slow, very patient. I know a lot of people didn't like that, but for me, I think it gave the film this really sort of old Hollywood feel. I think that the slow pace gives the big, quick, fast moments a lot more impact. And of course, it gave us some incredible long take sequences. So Bad Times at the El Royale is at number 10. Moving on to number 9. Ready Player One is the most honest, genuine, unpretentious fun I had with a film all year. The story and the characters are very simple, but delightfully so, I think. And here's the thing, Ready Player One is one of the few films this year, I think, that isn't going for the awards. It's not trying to be politically correct or woke or Time's Up, Me Too, any of that. It's here for the fans, it's here to have fun, and in today's climate, that is rare. Moving on to number 7. For me, I find Annihilation to be the best sci-fi film of the year. Alex Garland has pretty much cemented himself as one of the greats of sci-fi. This film is inventive, it is thought-provoking, it challenges you, it doesn't give you all the answers. I love the fact that this film was ambiguous, that it invited multiple interpretations. But the one thing about this film that isn't ambiguous is the filmmaking. You've got Rob Hardy doing such a good job with the cinematography, great visual effects, great score, Natalie Portman giving an awesome performance. And like it or not, Annihilation has one of the most well-directed, tension-packed scenes of the year. It's just an awesome film. For me, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is up there with Game Night as one of the biggest surprises of the year. I think it shows all of us that the superhero genre still has so much more to offer us. It's a perfect blend of style and substance with an animation style that is basically unheard of and makes you feel like it's a 2-hour moving comic book. I've never seen that before, ever. And it's actually very similar to Paddington 2 in that there's so much going on and so many characters and so many subplots, and yet they make everything feel cohesive and focused. It's also the only film this year that got me even remotely close to crying, so well done. Wow, A Star is Born works on so many different levels. Like, on the surface, it is such a fun, entertaining, emotional ride. It's a crowd pleaser. It gave me goosebumps so many times. But the reason I think A Star is Born stands out is the complex exploration of the relationship between Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. And it's the way that Bradley Cooper captured everything with so much authenticity that kind of serves as the core, the heart of the film, and kind of made all the big moments work so well. I think this film is very, very likely going to win Best Picture, and I would be very happy if it did. As I said in my review for the film, Roma is one of the definitive films of 2018. It is an achievement in filmmaking unlike any other. Alfonso Cuarón's directing is inspiring. This really is the film that reminded me why I love films, that showed me the magic of filmmaking. It is the most filmiest film of the year, as I said in my review. Like many, I was a little bit more invested in the directing and the filmmaking than the actual characters and the story. I do wish that I cared a little bit more about the story and characters, but Roma was one of the few films this year that hit me both as a film watcher and as a filmmaker, and I feel like that alone makes it worthy to be on this list. Mission Impossible Fallout is pretty much an action masterpiece. I think that in what it's trying to do, it's basically perfect. I think I probably like it more than Mad Max Fury Road. This film is just awesome in every way. The story, of course, is very simple, but we're not here for the story, we're here for the set pieces. And this film has some of the best ever. Tom Cruise is 56 and he's still doing stuff like this. I just have nothing but respect for the guy. We've got Henry Cavill come in with his mustache and his shotgun arms. Enough said. Now, this is definitely a love it or hate it film. It's one of the more divisive films of the year. I know quite a few people who thought this was a stupid horror movie and wasn't scared by it at all. But personally, Hereditary shook me to my core. It affected me so much mentally and physically. I think that as a horror movie, it works really well, but after 3 viewings, it does get less and less scary. But there are 2 reasons why I keep coming back to this film and why it's so high up on this list. Firstly is the family dynamic. The way that they captured and portrayed the family in this film is so powerful and so real. I still stand by the fact that Toni Collette for me gives the best performance of the year. I do think that she deserves Best Actress. She's not going to get it, but I do think that she deserves it. The dinner table scene features some of the best acting I've ever seen in my entire life. And I think that even if you live in the most happy family in the world with nothing but rainbows and unicorns, some small part of this film is going to affect you in one way or another. And the second reason I love Hereditary so much is the directing. This is Ari Aster's first full-length feature film. He's been directing shorts up until this point. And as an aspiring filmmaker myself, that is so inspiring. Because the guy's just gone out there for his first feature film and made what I think is a modern-day horror masterpiece. There are so many moments in the film where I'm watching it and I'm like, that's exactly how I would want to do it. And the fact that a new up-and-coming director has gone out there and just made his voice, made his vision, is so inspiring to me. Number 2 is basically the complete opposite to Hereditary in every way. Avengers Infinity War was probably the best experience I had this year at a film. It's by far the best cinema-going experience I had this year. Now, to give you some background on my experience with Infinity War, I go to school in England in a very small town called Shrewsbury. Whenever I go to see a film with my friends, it's basically like 8 or 10 other people in the theatre. When I went to see Infinity War, it was the first time that the entire theatre was packed. The atmosphere was just insane. And then after that, I went to see it with like a huge crowd in London. It was just such a great experience. And the film itself, can we just take a moment to appreciate the fact that a film like this actually exists and is this good? Like, it's crazy. Oh God, it is flawed, but it's just such an experience. And again, the fact that it exists and it works this well It's just, I have nothing but respect for the Russo brothers and everyone working for this film. It definitely has some of the best movie moments of the year. God, I love this movie, and I think that I'm still going to be in love with it for years to come. Now, I feel like my number one movie of the year is going to upset quite a few people. A lot of people are going to disagree with me, but again, this is my list. This is my personal list. And so my number one movie of the year is... Every year there are one or two films which most people like, most people say is good, but I absolutely love. I remember it was like Atomic Blonde and Okja last year. This year it's Ready Player One and Widows. I think this movie is a goddamn masterpiece. I said it in my review, but it feels like a weird amalgamation of all the great films of this year. You know, it's got the awesome ensemble cast of Infinity War, it's got the twists and turns of Bad Times, it's got the incredible, immaculate direction of Hereditary and Annihilation, it's got the heart of A Star Is Born, you know, it's such a complete film. And Steve McQueen is just, he's a master. You've got Viola Davis, Elizabeth Debicki, Daniel Kaluuya. And a common criticism that I've seen with this film that I feel like I need to address is that the heist sequence isn't that big of a deal, it's not that good. But for me, my response to that would be that to say that Widows is a movie about a heist is to say that Whiplash is a movie about drumming, or The Social Network is a movie about Facebook. On the surface, it absolutely is. But it's only a device, it's only a tool for the filmmakers to explore genuinely powerful, important, compelling themes. And for me, the biggest theme with Widows, and I guess the reason that makes me love it more than everything else, is that out of sadness and loss and pain can come unity and success and greatness. And that is why Widows is my favorite movie of 2018. So that was my list for my favorite movies of 2018. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is going to be the last video of this year. I'd like to take this time to thank you all so much. I am basically nothing without the viewers, so thank you so much. I had initially aimed to reach 300 subscribers. I'm now nearly on 330 as the time I'm filming this. Just thank you so much to all the viewers. I hope you have a happy new year. I don't really celebrate Christmas, so I hope you have a happy new year. And I shall see you at the beginning of next year with my most anticipated films of 2019 list. Thank you very, very much, guys, for watching. Again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And I hope you have a happy new year, guys. Thank you.